So if someone was to ask you whether you were an optimist or a pessimist, what would you say? I have to be honest, I'd probably be closer to the pessimist end. A good dose of optimism definitely does me good. But optimism is in fact said to contribute to improved mental and physical health. It's good for us. We all need a good dose of it from time to time, don't we? But I wonder, how optimistic do you feel today? Or maybe how optimistic do you feel this year? It's fair to say it's probably not been the easiest year for an optimist, and to be fair, it's probably not been much better this year for a pessimist either, has it? I wouldn't say that I'm particularly an optimistic person, but I would say I'm full of hope. So what do I mean by that? Full of hope. An optimist lives by choosing to see how circumstances, however difficult, may in fact work out for the best. And this is not a bad way to live, is it? But hope in God, on the other hand, takes us beyond the circumstances. The circumstances may in fact be bleak, but hope sees light in the darkness because of what God has promised. Or as another person puts it, the optimist speaks about concrete changes in the future. The person of hope lives in the moment with the knowledge and trust that all of life is in good hands. And this hope isn't just pie in the sky, a dream about what might be. It's about a real anticipation for something better, something you truly believe is coming. And I can remember thinking once that many Christians just seem so happy. They seem to have these fixed smiles on their faces. And was this just because they're positive thinkers, or just that they're really, really optimistic about everything? It may be those things in part, but it's much more than that. And I've discovered that at times circumstances may in fact be bleak, whether you're a person of faith or not. But when there's hope, people see light in the darkness because of what God has promised. There's a peace and a joy that comes with it. Jesus is described in the Bible as the light of the world. And when light comes into our lives, darkness takes its rightful place. It flees, just like when we light a match in a dark room. And as the nights are getting darker, all the way up to the 21st of December, we've got a way to go yet, we can sometimes feel it, can't we? And this year, I don't really have to explain why we feel like our reserves are used up, do I? But we can probably feel it all the more. We look around us on these dark nights and mornings, and we see increasing amounts of Christmas lights. And other than just being lovely Christmas lights, they're also meant to be reminding us that it was once dark, but when God showed up on the scene, light had come in the darkness. And in the darkness, there are signs of this hope everywhere, even earlier than this year, it seems, with all the lights. And in the Bible, it says we have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. And this year has made us reflect and think about a lot of things, hasn't it? But it has definitely made us ask the question about what our lives are based on. In a time where it feels like it's hard to know what there is to trust in, when the normal comforts and ways of life have maybe been stripped away in many ways, we're looking for our lives to be secure and built on something that lasts. Despite a vaccine, those questions don't go away. And this is not just how we feel about it. It's not just desperately trying to believe that things are on the up, but rather this hope is something that's solid, an anchor on which we can trust our very souls, and that is firm and secure. And this is the hope of Jesus. This is the hope of Christmas. God himself coming down to us in our world of chaos, as it was when he came as a baby, and we only have to read the Christmas story to hear how great some of the darkness was at that time. But also about how he comes to us now, in the midst of all that is in our lives. Whether we've got our lives sorted and put together or not, God comes to us. We don't have to strive to try and get to him. Hope in Jesus releases us from trying or striving even to be optimistic in the face of darkness and struggle, and allows us to plant our lives on something that is firm, secure and eternal. And this is the thrill of hope that all the characters in the Christmas story had been anticipating, that somehow in the midst of their everyday lives, their own attempts to navigate their way through their life, like all of us, for some in the midst of their brokenness, God would come and shine his light. So how full of hope are you? The hope of Jesus is on offer to you today, as it was those people we hear of and read of in the Christmas story. Jesus has come down to you, as he did back then. We're all in different places on a spiritual journey, each one of us. If you're looking for that anchor, that hope to build your life on, I invite you now to echo these words, this prayer with me, wherever you're watching this from. And then watch as Jesus shines his wonderful light. So Jesus, I open my heart to you now. Show me you're real. Come and shine your light on my life and those around me this Advent and Christmas. I want my life to be anchored on you. I turn to you and receive your love, your joy, your peace, and your wonderful hope right now. Thank you for this precious gift. Amen. So do keep tuning into our YouTube channel as we post new videos of hope over the coming weeks.